So, Portia, her persistence, passion, and tenacity enabled her to take her products to over 2,000 leading retailers in South Africa, such as Pick n Pay, ShopRite, Checkers, game stores, Clicks, Dis-Chem, Spar, pharmacies, Medicare, and more. She has successfully exported her products to countries such as Botswana, Swaziland, Lesotho, Namibia, Malawi, Mozambique, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, hey man, etc. and more. Portia M has now established the Porsche M Foundation, which focuses on social responsibility, mentorship, entrepreneurship, youth development, and some of her awards, as I was looking at her bio, are really inspiring and really empowering. The one that I loved was, I loved all of them. But I loved all of them. In 2020, she was the overall winner, Best in Beauty Clicks Supplier overall winner. So before she gets on stage, I think we can give her a round of applause for that. I think she's got a story. She's going to tell her story. And let's show her some love as we sit back, relax, and enjoy and listen to Portia M, the story. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sis Portia. Ah, come on, let's show some love. Let's show some love. Let's show some love. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Portia M. Over to you.
Hi, guys. I'm so honored and very humbled to be invited here to share the tea and to share my story. And I hope it can inspire some of you, even if it's one person, who can at least supersede what I've tried to do and what I'm still trying to do. We're just going to play a video a bit because Portia M is turning 10 years this year. It has been a long journey, but a very fulfilling one.
Said stick to the tried and tested. Your hustle is a blessing. It all talk through what lies in a bottle of marula. It's packaging the essence of a black girl vision. Seed sown whilst playing under a marula tree. The flame that mixed ingredients which almost set mama's home right. It's black girl vision brewed in a kitchen over a two-place stove, but now manifesting on stove shelves with a footprint across Africa. It's tilling the ground till we were grounded with the best in beauty. With our eyes on the prize, we are a David that makes Goliath sleep with one eye open. 10 years in and the past is no leverage us. The present expected us to stand still, but time ticked our presence, with the future inscribing us into history's foundation, calling us by the greatness in our names. What's not born with silver spoons in their mouths are now makers of the spoon and benders thereof. Came into this earth with answers clenched and fist, unclench your fist to do the best. Ours is not a race to come first or be first, but to impact. Us, healing skin, restoring esteem, resurrecting dignity and joy and beauty. Diving beyond skin, funding hidden figures, a shoulder for the marginalized. We're not taking up space only to be muted at the all-white decorated table of skincare MVPs. Not just a body treading into uncharted territories, but we are tomorrow's tools, making a real difference on skin, a glow continuing so we can shine together. Let him without foresight cast the first doubt, as the dream becomes rooted beyond the marula tree, possibilities beyond the black girl, beyond beauty, beyond at last in the eye of the beholder. To our customers, thank you for being part of the journey over the years. We have grown, won awards, and created jobs, all thanks to you. Keep sending us your testimonials. They inspire our team to keep giving you the best in skincare products.
Okay, let's give a hand to Emma, the narrator of the poem. It always makes me emotional because every word she says is exactly how I felt as I journeyed through building this brand. So please, can you give her a hand? I know she's not here. Okay, so this is how my story starts. Obviously, it's the marula oil story. And I know most of you sitting here, you probably use Elizabeth Arden, you use L'Oreal, but you've never met them in person. So today you're meeting Portia M. A proudly South African brand made for all Africans under the African sun. How this story began is that I was born and raised in Polokwane. I grew up I was raised by my maternal grandmother. I used to basically play under the marula tree. So my grandmother at the time taught me how to make fermented beer from the marula fruit and also crack the nut. And every time, once my parents took me to stay with them, every time she'll send the marula nut with 100 rand inside. I don't know, that was a sign of luck, that one day I'll make products out of this. And years later, I happened to get married to a very handsome gentleman from Swaziland. And when I had our first son, I happened to develop some stretch marks on my side. And my mother-in-law at the time advised that in the olden days, they used to use the oil from the marula oil to make the oil that will heal their skin. Being the entrepreneur that I am, I saw that as a great opportunity to start my own skincare range. However, during my journey growing up, I used to ask myself as I walk into the shops, like, who's Elizabeth Arden? Who's L'Oreal? Who are these people? I've never met them. However, we love their products. And what's wrong with having a Portia M from Africa? Because our names are also great. And I'm also a Christian, so I read the good book a lot. I love the story of Abraham, when God says to him, leave your country and your people, and I shall make your name great. So that means there's greatness in our names. And I honestly believe that in such a way that I believe everyone who experiences Portia M experiences my spirit. They experience the love that I wish I can give you. I know it can work for everybody. I wish it could. But it's just the sincerity and the love of what I came here on earth to give to the next person. Every time we see those testimonials, every time we see how people's lives have changed just by using our product, it encourages us more to keep giving the best that we can to each and everyone who's using our products. After my mother-in-law told me how the marula oil works, of course I bought it for myself. I used it. I could see a difference. I have an IT background. I'm a systems engineer by profession. I was still employed at the time. So I bought the oil with 200 rand and I rebottled it into small 100 ml bottles. I targeted mostly my friends whom I knew had problems on their skin, so they could give me feedback. So that was my first clinical study. However, in my mind, I always knew that I want to create a brand. I knew the type of product I wanted to create out of that oil. But of course, there were no funds. But the grace of God, I happened to meet CEDA, the Small Enterprise Development Agency. They assisted me in testing the products. They paid for about 90% of the testing. So that helped a lot. Because I knew that if I wanted to compete with the big guys, I had to get compliance in order. It took a lot of time to get the product to what it is, to be ready for the shelves, But you need that patience. And the fact that there was a vision, that is what led me because I had seen this product on the shelf already. That's what drove me each and every day. I'll literally go to Pick n Pay and pray on each shelf. I'll go to where bio oil is and speak and say, one day Portia M Marula oil will be next to this. I'll go to ponds where there are cream sets and I'll speak and say, one day my cream will be next to this. And I'll tell you, I got the first break in 2014. I had to pitch to a macro buyer. My packaging was wrong. Everything was wrong. But somehow she could sense the passion and the sincerity. She gave me 200% for my presentation. But she said, you know what, you can't compete with bio oil on a 500 ml bottle. All my containers were too big. My creams were too big. And she said, I'll give you 2 weeks to go and fix this. Then I'll give you an opportunity. After 2 weeks, I made sure, you know, where we had to get and borrow money to make sure that we get that packaging right, we did as a family. 2 weeks later, I was back. She gave me about 5 stores. Centurion Macro was one of them. That was the first store that I had to deliver my product on my own. And I was driving this old Bantam that my husband hustled for me. It would smoke every time I met the robot. And people would always ask me, what's wrong, are you fine? But you know, it was the season. I remember the first day I delivered at Macro, there was this big AXE, you know AXE, the roll-on truck in front of me. And I literally spoke. Please mind the word speaking, speak. Keep on speaking your dreams. It's amazing what you can achieve with what you continuously say. I spoke to that truck and I said, one day we will have a Portia M truck. It will be white with a big Portia M name on it. And years later, you know, we have a truck now. We've got 3 trucks. And we're trusting God for more. We've got vans, we've got cars for our salespeople. It all overwhelms me. I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to come as fast as it did. After delivering at Macro, they also gave us stores in Cape Town. Remember, at the time, I only had 1 employee who would come to my house. I was literally making products from my stove at home, you know, and there was no merchandising. I had to be the one merchandising, delivering, packing the stock, and coming to resell it with that 1 employee of mine. Later on, my husband was like, no, you need to go somewhere else because I've got babies. So one of my sons took one of the fragrances that we use on our lotions and put it in the sugar. So when I made him tea, he's like, no, you guys need to move out. And I'm like, no, but they'll see that I don't have equipment. He's like, no, even a 2-plate stove will be enough. So I took my pot, a 2-plate stove. I got a space at the Innovation Hub, and we started packaging from there. And remember, we are supplying retail stores. Obviously, people will want to come and see how do you produce your products. But by the grace of God, they didn't come at that time. And we were selling these products, we were mixing with a kitchen mixer, literally a kitchen mixer. Our lotions had clots in it because we couldn't get the consistency that is required from a Nivea lotion because we did not have the machinery. But South Africa still supported us. And it was mainly women. It was the first person to share a testimonial was a woman. She shared and said, you know, I'm using this product, and now my skin is like this, it was like this. And furthermore, after that, more and more of them came. And to think at that time, there was no money to hire a famous person to model our products. You know, it was quite a humbling scene for me. And I had made it a point, because I love people. I'm very shy and hidden, but I love people. And that's the way I can show my love to them, because I'm not a very outgoing person. So I made it a point that I use engagement as part of the key marketing strategy. So we engage continuously with our customers. I think, honestly, we are the most engaging brand with our customers, because I relied so much on their feedback, on how they feel about the product. That helped me to create even more products that customers want from us. So they helped me in my innovation by giving feedback. Some of them would say, you know, we need an anti-aging cream. Now they need an SPF and all of that. So we've made sure that our customers are the innovators in the brand, and we give them what they ask of us, because now we have the capabilities to do so. After macro, I then had to go and pitch at Pick n Pay, where I was taken by the ABSA team through 10 cities to present my product. And in one of the cities, it happened to be Cape Town, I met Mrs. Ackerman. She loved my presentation. She said, you know what, I can arrange with the buyers to see you. But remember, that's how far she can get, to just get me into the door to make that meeting. Everything else, I had to present the product to convince the buyer that this is the right product for them. I got there. The buyer then said, you know what, I also love your product, but we can only give you 20 stores. And in those 20 stores, these are franchise stores. So you need to go and present in each and every franchise and to prove to the store managers that this product can sell. I went to do that. Every opportunity for me to get on the shelf was everything. I never took anything for granted. If there was a delivery time, even if it was on a Saturday morning, I would literally drive there and go and deliver and pack the stock. So it's very important to show that you want this. Don't miss out on opportunities. It doesn't matter how small they are. When Pick n Pay gave me 20 stores, I knew they had 800 stores. But for me to get to the 800, I had to prove myself on the 20. So I did the best that I can. In less than 3 months, they had given me 200 stores to supply. In less than a year, we were already in over 400 stores. Then after Pick n Pay, I went to ShopRite to try and pitch. They gave me a runaround for 2 years. The first time I got there, they told me, no, nobody knows who Portia is. You're not even a celebrity. So please build your brand. We will look at you. You know, yeah, we know you're at Pick n Pay and macro, but if you're at Clicks at least, you know, we will look at you. I said, no, it's fine. Is that what you want me to do? They said yes. I vigorously did my marketing campaigns on social media, and luckily my customers, they keep posting, so the brand gained traction. And we honestly pride ourselves in the fact that we've developed a product that gives results. Because I was also tired. I'm a woman. I love beauty products. But I just didn't want to produce just a beauty product. It had to give results. It had to make a difference to somebody. And the more difference it made, even today, our customers continue to tell their beautiful stories. After 2 years, I went back to ShopRite. They said, yeah, we see it. Let's give you 40 stores. It's amazing how we as black people have to always prove ourselves 10 times more than other people. But anyhow, I did not want to engage in that type of debate, because I was like, I'm already supplying 400 stores, so why are you doubting me? Clearly I can supply. But I knew that as much as we want economic power, they are not just going to give it to us like this. We need to fight for it. And for me, with this Portia M movement, it's honestly trying to start a revolution to everyone to say, guys, it's not going to be given to us in a silver platter. We need to do our part to get what belongs to us. Sometimes you'll need to be really humble, like I've always tried to be, but knowing what the end goal is. Because the end goal was to get into that door and do as much as I can once I'm inside. So ShopRite gave me 40 stores. They said, no, let's see in 6 months how you do. In 3 months, they called me and said, no, there's too much demand for your product. So they gave me extra stores as well. And today we are in over 700 stores at ShopRite and Checkers. After ShopRite, I remember they even made us the new supplier. They nominated us to be on the list of the new supplier awards. That was a big thing for us because it meant, you know, they are feeling us. When I went to the supplier awards, the night after that, I remember I got a call from the Clicks buyer to say that we are looking for you. You know, to get to that point where now the stores are looking for you, that was like a dream. And they're like, no, people keep coming to our stores. They are looking for your products. So at Clicks, I don't want to lie, I didn't suffer. They called us in, and we went in there, and we messed up the other brands. Yeah. Hence, we won the best supplier of the year last year. And this came as well. Can you believe when I started, I thought the first retailer to stock me will be Discam. I wrote so many proposals. They kept on giving me a certain email to say, no, send your proposal to that email, we will respond. They never responded. And after I was at Clicks, I got a call from Mrs., what do they call her? Loserman or something. She's the director. And she's like, Portia, I want to see you. When I got there, she's like, I've been watching you. I've been watching your journey. I think now you are ready to come to us. Even there, I did not struggle. They stocked our products, and we are now one of their top-selling brands at Discam. So my advice, honestly, to the entrepreneurs that are sitting here, or those who wish to be entrepreneurs, believe in the power of a speaking word and focus, 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 focus. I know we get a lot of advice where somebody will say, you know, you shouldn't put your eggs in one basket. But sometimes you'll have to nurture that egg until it becomes a chicken, until it can give you more eggs. So in other words, do a thing and do it so well that you master the technique so that whatever else you try to do, you already have the recipe to succeed. So you need to succeed at something. Do something so well that, you know, even if somebody gives me a business tomorrow, I know I'll execute it and I'll do it exceptionally well. Because I know how it feels to fail. I know how it feels to seem like I'm succeeding and nothing happens. And I know how it feels to just persevere without knowing if they are going to say yes or no. You need to go through everything before you can tell yourself that, you know what, I can try everything else. There are people who succeed in everything, but I know personally that if I were to put my hands, try new businesses all the time, I'll be, you know, in everything but master none. So I told myself, you know what, I need to do this and do it right and do it well. Now I know that you can put me in property, you can put me in anything. I know how to do business. And the power of speaking to things, you know, believing in what you're saying. Your words are so powerful. If you knew how powerful your words were, you wouldn't say any negative thing against yourself. Your words are so powerful. They seem like they are not bearing fruit when you start speaking a thing. But those of you, all of us who are here, I'm sure we know there's a God, even if some don't believe in it. But he also spoke. He said, let there be light. And there was light. There's power in speaking things that you want. Stand in the mirror every morning. Tell yourself, I'm great. You know, I'm meant for great things. Whatever is said about me from the foundations of the earth, I shall manifest all of it. And I'm not walking on this journey alone. Some believe in our ancestors, some believe in angels, some believe in the spirit, but your spirit is so great. Some of you sitting here, your spirit is so great. Even this room cannot contain it, but you are containing yourself because you look at your physical being and you think this is all there is. But if you were to try and manifest everything that you are, the world will never be the same again, and it's waiting for you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Sis Portia. It's truly a story of fighting for what you want until you get it. Thank you for not giving up on your dream. Thank you for believing in the vision of T. Thank you for coming to share your story. And who knows, one day when we're traveling overseas, we'll see the Porsche M brand. I prophesy. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to have a question and answer session now. I know some of you have got questions that you'd like to ask Sis Portia. Can I see by a show of hands? All right, so I've got 3 this side, 4. I've got one last one. 5. Another one? 6. Spoo, can we get the mic? Spooder, the mic? All right, let's start this side. Just please introduce yourself, who you are, and what your question is.
1, 2. Oh, okay. Hi, this is Portia. Dan Chauke. I represent my company called TYC Business. We sell body sprays. On my journey, obviously, I create a formula, and then because of lack of funding, I outsource to make sure that we have the brand. So I just want you to help me with advice in terms of the CETA procedure, because now I feel like we're ready to be independent, to raise our own capital, to buy our own machines so we can apply more creative on it, because you know it gets difficult, especially when you outsource, because obviously you try to bring something that your consumers, your customers need. So I want you to help me on that. Thank you, and good day to everybody, entrepreneurs.
Okay. Thank you for the question, John. Jan Chauke, right? Dan Chauke. Congratulations on your product. If I may ask, do you have barcodes on your product already? You do have barcodes. Okay. So you are more than ready to go to CEDA, the Small Enterprises Development Program. They will assign as a business advisor for you who will help you with your business plan, who will help you with applying for grants as well. Another place that you can go to is the Innovation Hub. I know they've got 2 centers, one in Joburg and one in Pretoria. They can also assist you a lot. They've got funding there called ASP. They helped us a lot as well to buy machinery. Also, again, see that they've got a technology development fund. Once they are satisfied that your business is where it's supposed to be and you've got enough marketing collateral and there's potential in the market for you, you can also apply for that grant. So I believe those people can assist you, but I think you are ready. As long as you've got a product, hopefully it's been tested in whatever area that you're specializing in, and you've got a barcode, they'll be more than ready to assist you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Tiragalo. I'm the founder of a company called Refiner. We manufacture sanitizers and also solvents and detergents. I'm also incubated. Oh, can you hear me? All right, yes. Okay, I'm also incubated at Innovation Hub. Okay, I have a few questions for you. I was even talking to my brother here, because I've been dying to meet up with you because I have few challenges, which I hope maybe you'll be able to resolve. Because firstly, I want to ask you what's the process if I want to be part of your mentorship program. And then again, because challenges that I'm facing at the moment, because my product is already listed with few stores. We're already trading with Devland Cash and Carry, which is wholesalers who are most in Indian stores around townships. We're also retailing with super spas. And then we're also trying to get into Pick and Pay. So they just put us on hold. So what I want to ask you, because I know when you are trading with big retail stores, now you're working on credits. It's no longer just cash on delivery. Yes. My question is, how do you manage your cash flow to make sure that they are also paying on time? Because what I've realized, sometimes you will die to work with these people. Yes. Then as soon as you are in, you see that there are a lot of challenges working with these people. So that's my question. Yes, those are two of my questions. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Hi, my brother, and congratulations. You've done well. I mean, for you to be at Daveland already, that's a big milestone because that will build your brand. By the time you get to Pick and Pay, people will already know your brand, so well done on that. How you can join our foundation? You can email Porsche M Foundation. Porsche M Foundation. They'll give you the spelling next to you at portiam.mss.com. So they'll give you an email. My colleagues are there. They'll give you that email. We'll send you documents that you can fill and what the requirements, what you need us to help you with, and hopefully we can go through the journey with you. As far as negotiating for payment, you first have to negotiate and you have to be sincere. Don't overpromise. Tell them exactly where you are, that I'm still starting out, I'm a small business. Isn't there a way that I can get payment earlier, maybe 7 days after delivery, so that I can, work on my cash flow? They normally try and give that. And since you are an up-and-coming business, they should be able to put you on their supplier program, supplier development programs, where they give preference payment, to small businesses. So do ask about that, especially when you go to Pick and Pay. There's a very good program there, and the custodians are very caring to small businesses. As soon as you send us an email, we'll exchange more, and I'm looking forward to mentoring you. Thank you.
I have a question for you. Very successful story, but there's a process behind it. Entrepreneurs that are sitting here, what are 3 habits, 3 things that you've done consistently that have gotten you to where you are, which they can take home with? 3 habits or 3 powerful books that you've read.
Okay. I'll stick to the habits. I've read too many books, and most of them are my favorites. But the 3 habits that I would like each one of you to try and develop: be consistent in telling your story. My brother before me emphasized that. Be consistent in how you tell your story, and how you tell your story to yourself, because honestly speaking, before you believe, anyone here believes in what you're selling or whatever service you say in your rendering, you need to believe it yourself first. By the time I went to Pick and Pay, no one could tell me that Marula oil can't work. I knew it could work. I could bet on it that it's working, So you need to believe so much in whatever service or product that you are developing before you expect anybody else to believe in it. Secondly, be consistent in your marketing. People market, I know most of you will use social media for marketing. They'll post one post, and then disappear. I know my PR guy is there. He's going to shout at me for this one. Be violent. People need to know about you. There are about 7 to 30 million people on social media. All of them need to know your product, and they won't know it with just one post. A week, a day. Be vigorous in your type of marketing. Take pictures, Do whatever you can, consult people. I know most of you will say, we can't even consult a marketing agency, we don't have the funds. You'll be amazed at the information that's available on the internet. Instead of paying on WhatsApp or whatever, use that data to do research, develop yourself. You won't believe that I didn't study for what I'm doing. I mean, I didn't study business, I didn't study product development. I'm an engineer, but I'm following my passion. And when you are passionate about something, you will self-teach yourself until you know what you're doing. So teach yourself, research and research and research. Third one, focus. Check your circle. You know, you need to be around people who enable you, your enablers. You need to know those people. I know we love friends. I know we want to be amongst a lot of people, but following a vision can make you isolated at times. You need to self-isolate if there's a need. And that's what will help you to be focused. There's many of my friends that I know who are now celebrating me, but I know for a fact that if I told them first what I'm doing, they'll say, hey, now when's Hanmar? It is a when I was selling the oil, I started selling it at church. I had elders in the church asking me, but you're working, you know? So you need to know, check your circle to protect your focus and your mental health. Hi.
You hear me? Oh yeah, now it's on. Sorry about that. Portia, I think it's so difficult to stand here and not be this emotional listening to your story. Yeah, I want to control it. Okay, so I think for me, I resonate because you've done what you've done and you've achieved so much. And you enable people like me to have these dreams, right? For you to say, I was cooking this thing on a 2-plate stove, I'm currently cooking my own weight loss drink on my stove. And I have my kids always telling me, Mommy, keep on doing it, it's gonna work. You know that it works.
That's all you need.
I know, I was literally 84 kgs last year. And I was breastfeeding and I was like, how am I gonna lose weight? You know, certain people are putting pressure. So yeah, so that's how I got into saying no. You know, looking at this lady and her back to basics concept and our way as African people in how we are so used to brewing our own things from our own stoves, it inspired me. And that's what I said after seeing it work over time. I was like, it works, and I'm taking it to the market because I've always wanted to do this. So I think for me, it's more of a thank you note to say, because of you, we're able to use that reference to say she broke into the market, she did it, and so can I. And I have to tell you, all the steps that you've taken is literally what I always go on YouTube, your YouTube videos, and I make reference, and I'm like, oh, innovation agency, that's where I am today. Oh, having to get it tested, that's where I am today. And also listening to your struggles along the road, it also makes me realize that, wait a minute, I'm not alone. There's not a sale in 1 month, there's not even one sale, but I'm not alone. Portia M went through this, and she's where she is today. So it's a thank you note, and I think you need more of an applause and of an audience, like more younger girls where we come from our backgrounds. They need to know more about you. You need to be in all the schools. They need to make reference of people like you, because you are where you are today because of your background. You've remained, resilient because of where you've come from. And I think a lot of us need to know that. I'm from Eliboeng, so now selling to a clientele in Bedford View, as a girl from Tembisa, it was difficult, but managed to tap into that because of where I come from. You know, I've got a great story to tell. I've got an amazing product on the market, and it works. And that's one of the things that I take from you. So I think for me now, the challenge is tapping into retail and also finding my way in this whole storm. Because you hear comments like, you can't approach this person, nobody knows you yet, so you can't go to Pick n Pay. You hear comments like, maybe try partner up with someone who's more established and maybe you'll get somewhere. And I have to say, in my journey, getting to where I am today, I started with so many other people because of that imposter syndrome. When I stand up, I don't sound as articulate as somebody who studied law. I mean, I did hospitality management. So you get that imposter syndrome and you find somebody who's very articulate and you think, let me partner with her, people will listen to me. But that's not the fact. And I've had to break away from so many people. And I'm standing here today having achieved all these things by myself. So yeah, also your story too, right? So that's the thing for me. I think that's the main challenge, would be tapping into those larger markets while trying to acquire all my compliance and trying to, I think the thing is, how do I get to a group full of investors, tell my story and still say, I'm still working on this facet and that facet, but I'm here, I've acquired my space, I'm in the market, I've got, good reviews from people, it's a product that works, but I'm still struggling in certain areas. How will they take me seriously then? I think that's my thing. Thank you.
Firstly, thank you for the gift that you've just given me, just letting me know that through taking the risk that I did, and living my dream, it has inspired you to do so much and to develop an amazing product. I'm sure we all ladies sitting here, we want that. I definitely want that weight loss juice that you're cooking, but congratulations, you've done well so far. When it comes to investors, approaching investors, firstly, you must establish, do you really need partnerships in your business? Because from what you've said, it's proof that we each have our own journey to travel, and we should never try to be somebody else. We are special in our own way. Today you have a Portia M because I chose to travel my own journey, and tomorrow there'll be you, so you need to travel that as confident as you can. When it comes to investments, I believe the best people that can help you grow your business is the retailers themselves. Because if you come with a good product, they are willing to go into their pockets and try to help you build your business. South Africa is in need of businesses that can create jobs, and if you've got products that can sell and create more income, even the biggest retailers are willing to come in there, give you favorable payment terms so that you can grow your business. I'm saying that because I've been banking with one bank for a very long time. When I needed money to go and service an order, which I had an order in my hands, they didn't fund me because at the time it was too much of a risk. So that's more like investors. They first want to see traction in the business before they can put their money in. So the best people to partner with are the retailers themselves. Go in there, present your product, tell them what the limitations are. If it's a good product, they'll be willing to give you favorable payment terms so you can keep growing your business. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zama Matondo. I'm the founder of ZM. Currently, we are doing fragrances, perfume fragrances. I also want to say that Sis Portia is also one of my inspirations with starting up this business, because now there is a black woman out there who has done what we are also trying to do. I've got 2 questions for you. My first question is, how do you decide on when to add on more products in your basket? And then the second one is, how do you deal with your customers who say it's not working for me? How do you handle that? Okay. Thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry. In my head, I wanted to show you my product.
Congratulations,
so this is my product. Thank you very much. It's ZM. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and that's ZM with a personal touch.
Wow. Congratulations, Zama, on your innovation. Congratulations, and thank you for letting me know that I inspire you. That inspires me too, to continue, you know, because there are so many that are looking and who are drawing inspiration. You asked me 2 questions. I'll start with the negative one. How do we deal with customers who complain, you know? Look, we try to be as honest as we can, that our product can work for everyone. However, we would like to be a house of skincare that eventually develops products that can work on different skin types. And in the 10 years that we've had, we've managed to develop 2 ranges. We're still going to develop more ranges to try and cater for different skincare types. However, that's the feedback that we need, because once we know, oh, this one, if she uses the cream for oily skin, it doesn't work for her, then it gives us an opportunity to innovate more. So those problems are a blessing to us, because people then tell us, what happens to them. We then go back to the drawing board to say, okay, this ingredient doesn't work. What else can we add to make sure? And then we get a new extra product, and that is extra income for the business and more jobs for other people. So problems are a blessing. We don't take it as something that we should shun upon. It's something that we take as a learning curve for ourselves. And we need more and more of those complaints. Trust me, they help us to innovate. The second question, it was?
The second question was, sorry. How do you decide on when it's time to add on to your product basket? So you add another product to your already...
Okay, so what we do, we take at least a year. Every year, we at least add 2 or 3 products. How we research that is through the feedback that we get from our customers, like I said. Our customers, those who love our products so much, will keep demanding more of what the competition has. And say, no, we want it to be on the, I want to buy everything Portia M. There are customers who even said they want to buy cement from us. So we rely so much on customer feedback. And of course, we look at trends, what's out there in the market. What are the big guys doing? The type of ingredients that they are using. We then make sure that we develop products that cater for different segments of the market. We still have a premium range to develop. I mean, Konabosi Sabasa Sentin, buyers Portia M, but they think our packaging is not good enough for them. So that's also an opportunity for us. Every problem, we take it as an opportunity, but we've made it a point that every year, at least by August, at least 3 products must be developed from ourselves to our customers.
Hi, sorry. My name is Tawiso Mutlatla, and I am a director or founder of a teaching company. It's called Elite Tutoring. We currently incubated in Hatfield by the Standard Bank, my question, rather, I've got 2 questions as well as one, I could say suggestion or just a thought that I would just like to share in general. I think it's compliance. If we are to actually be, if businesses rather are to grow, especially here in the townships, I think there must be a big emphasis on compliance, because a lot of people confuse being an entrepreneur as well as being self-employed. Those are two different things. Entrepreneurship always has to do with growth. Whatever that you do, there must be some sort of growth. But you still get people around here that have been running their businesses for a long time. They're not registered. They don't have their tax issues in order, but they still call themselves entrepreneurs. I don't have a problem with that, but I think if we're trying to reach some sort of growth, what you're saying, it's something that it's more useful if you're building up or you're scaling. But for somebody that still is trying to get some sort of motivation and they still don't know where they have to register their company, then it's a big problem. I think there are basics that we sometimes assume when we give motivation that people have, and the truth is that it's very common. People do not have those things. That's just a thought or something that I thought I should share. My two questions are as follows. I think the first one is funds that you work with. I think I started my business altogether while I was still at university. I was teaching, and I think I taught for almost 5 to 6 years. When I say I was teaching, because he was in that class. I think when he got to varsity, he was one of the students that I had in my tutorials. But nonetheless, sorry, it was. I was teaching calculus, so in business, I was still, a student. I started very well. It did very brilliantly, and I think one of the things that I was fortunate is I was surrounded by people that had a little bit of knowledge about businesses. But although we were not, big in business, we were able to share a little bit of knowledge. I think your surroundings or the people around you also play a big role. They introduced us to a few funds like your GEPs, CEDAs, and NYTAs and so forth. Now, my first question is, for somebody that literally is starting up or they're trying to scale up, most of those funds, including your CEDA, they are actually under the government, and in most cases, there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes with working with those people. I'm saying this because I'm also in the process of working. I've been successful with your GEPs, and NYDAs. They've been, they funded and they assisted us. But I've tried other funds as well, and it's been a complete disaster. In most cases, because you gotta be a bit politically connected or be a known or recognizable person before they take your matter seriously. Or in some cases, you have to literally escalate the matter to the CEO or the director of the ministry before you're taken into before you're taken seriously. Now, my question is, as you grow these things, it takes a lot of time, skills, as well as resources to actually chase all these funds, whereby you should be building your business. So the timing between the two, should I rather stay with my business up until it's sustainable and it can stand on its own before I pursue other funds that are, or resources that are meant to actually bring us up? I think most successful businesses have some sort of backing, be it mommy, help me, or go to the bank and so forth. But most people still don't qualify for a bank loan, and we would look at government to actually assist us. So when is the right perfect time to actually strike a balance whereby you go after these resources? Because some of them actually, I could say, quote unquote, they've got an expiry date, including like youth funds and so forth. Once you turn a certain age, you can apply for them. But they give quite a lot of competitive edge, because we always complain that we don't have anything at home, yet there are those resources. But to tap to those resources, there's a lot of bureaucracy that we actually follow. So that's the first question. The second question is overall skills. I think we've got, in the company, we've got about 35 teaching assistants / tutors that we have in the business, plus I think one administrator. We are struggling. I've been trying to actually scale up. We've been having, I think this year alone, we've taught over 2,000 kids. In fact, possibly even double. These are people that are from school, university residences and so forth, and individuals. We've done it in person and online, but the problem that we always have is that there are two things that are required: the skills that we teach, as well as the technological skills that we have in the business. Because to scale up, especially when you use digital tools, you need to always have somebody that knows what they're doing. So I know we're a big country that has a huge unemployment problem, but I can guarantee you, in some posts or some areas, we still struggle to actually find people. As I speak to you now, like last week, we advertised 15 posts for people to actually work as teaching assistants or tutors. There's only 3 that actually applied, or rather 3 people qualified. There's thousands of people that applied. I think most obviously take chances or whatever, but there's only a few. So just in a nutshell, the question is, how do you, for somebody that's trying to scale up and you're faced with a huge number of skills shortage, how do you balance that out? Because you don't, we've got another problem. I think that's the third one. We've got a huge demand problem, but we've got a shortage in terms of skills or supply. Thanks.
Thank you for your question, and congratulations on your business. I'll start with where you started first. I hope I can remember everything you've said. You know, I always say that there are 2 types of entrepreneurs or business people. There are those that just want to do business to survive. And then there are those who want to take over the world, like some of us. You know, and you have to decide which one are you, you know. And always be careful of being a business person that is always in need of help. Be careful, because that makes you a victim. You are not a victor, you know, you're not in charge of what you're doing. When you start a business, there has to be a place where you feel, okay, if I can sell 10 magwinyas, I'll get this 100 rand. And then with that 100 rand, I can buy more flour to produce 100 magwinyas, all by myself first, before you go to somebody else or before you expect everybody else to help you. I'll tell you this, by the time, if you want to approach government or any other investor, they want to see traction. They want to see numbers, that this is a business, it has potential to do well. You know, if you go to CEDA, for instance, they want to see, do you have a customer? You're saying you want to scale up. We can help you buy the machine to produce over 1,000 units, but what are you going to do with them? Is there a customer? Is there a customer that will keep coming back and look for 5,000, 10,000 more? So we need to be careful. Yes, we are entrepreneurs, but we need to be responsible for our own businesses and our own success. You have to have a point where you say, no, if noma ngathola usizo umama nginikeza 1,000, but if with that 1,000 I can sell 1,000 more units and make maybe 50,000 of that, I can run this thing. You know, I can go to Pick and Pay and say, I've got 50,000, I can supply you with 100,000 units. And then it grows from there. We need, really, I know it's a bit sensitive. People feel they need help all the time, but that makes you stay, you know, a small business. And the plan is not to be small businesses. You know, we need to be empire builders. You need to sit here, you need to look at that small thing, but you need to see an empire. And that will only come if you believe in yourself and you are accountable for what you are doing. Looking for help, the government always come late. I remember the machines that we received this year in our factory, we applied for them 3 years ago. Imagine if I waited for them 3 years ago, but I had to keep on moving. They got me along the way. So that's my advice. On the issue of compliance, I think, sir, you and the T Township Entrepreneur Alliance, you might have to create a program for skills transfer, especially when it comes to compliance. Some of us can come here and advise which documents are needed for certain stages, which testing stations you can send your products to for them to be compliant. I think that is honestly a necessary thing that you guys can do. I'm willing to volunteer and come, you know, and share what I know on that. What other question? You know, he asked so many and he made such beautiful comments. Now I forgot some of them. Okay, to match obviously excessive demand and the skills that you have, I think it boils back to what I've just said, that we need to transfer skills a lot. You know, we need to invite more people to speak to our entrepreneurs, but to physically train them that this is what you need. If you've got too much demand and you can't supply, which places can you go to? I know there's a place in Tshwane. If you don't have machinery, you can go there and produce your products from there and start supplying until you are strong enough to stand on your own. So what we need is more information, and we need to exchange skills. And like I said, I've already offered myself, should there be a need to do so.
All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Sis Portia. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.